Assalamu alaikum, viewers and student. This is Shahbaz Khan, and I'm back here again with yet another English lesson. Unfortunately, it's been quite a while once again since I last uploaded my lecture of my grammar series, and fortunately, I'm back now, and I duly take your apology for that and for that continued absence yet again. So now, without wasting any time, I would like to proceed further, and this time, once again, I would like to move on to my next lecture. So starting the time with the name of Almighty Lord, who is the most gracious and the most merciful. So as you can see on the screen, once again, this is our series, that is grammar series, as you have been following the same, and we are today in its lecture number 11. And without further ado, to move on to the topic, this time it is the final installment of our eventful topic that has been continued for quite a while now, and we have seen its first lecture as the introductory lecture of that, and that is lecture number 9th, and then we followed it out with its part number 1 in shape of the indefinite article section, that is A. So today we are going to talk about its part number 2nd, again the same topic, the types of articles, and in that we are finally going to conclude our proceedings with the discussion of the definite article, which is D. So here we go. We've already discussed a few things regarding the definite article, and in our introductory lecture when we were talking about articles in its complete detail, and there we followed some of the examples of definite article as well as the indefinite articles too. But today in this lecture, quite particularly, we are going to talk about the definite article even further. Let's emphasize about it a little bit further. So there we have it. That's the only element that we find in the definite article, that is the. Now we read it as the, but when it comes to finding its pronunciation in a sentence, so it has two different types of pronunciation. The first is the, and the other is the. We are going to talk about it even further today. Let's talk about its first concept that I'm going to share it with you. So the concept says, the initial concept, the concept that we have already discussed in our 9th lecture of grammar series, is that we use the when the noun is either singular or plural. Now the quantity of the noun may be singular, maybe one, or maybe plural, maybe more than one, as in other words. But either way would do, but at the same time the noun must be proper always. Let's take a quick example. He has lived for a decade in the United States of America, that is USA. Now the thing is, now we have this noun that is USA, as you can see, is not the simplest of the nouns that we get to see all the time in our books and in our examples. It's actually an abbreviation, and whenever we talk about an abbreviation, it becomes a kind of a proper name, and the type of a name where we can simply attach the definite article the. Otherwise, we know this quite frankly, that when we have a name only, with that single most name, we don't attach any article. Say the name of even America is actually that type of the name where we don't attach any article. But once we have its full name that goes as United States of America, we do attach definite article the with it. So this is actually a noun. So before that noun, we have attached the. Don't forget what type of a noun we have used here with the definite article the. That's very important point to keep in mind. Let's take another example and another concept. Now we have always talked about articles getting used with proper names and proper nouns, but today we are going to talk about the definite article the that gets used with even an adjective. Now that adjective in a sentence where you already find an adjective describing the noun at the same time. Now we have that adjective to describe the noun, but we have another adjective in shape of an article, that is the, in order to make that adjective look more emphatic or more modified. Let's take a quick example. Did you not enjoy the rainy day last night? Now, in this very sentence, if you want to look at the noun, or if I ask you where the noun really is, you would say the noun is day. Exactly correct. Now that is noun, and that is already getting described by an adjective before it. As you can see, the word is rainy. Now that rainy is actually describing the noun day. But in order to emphasize upon the adjective even further, we have used the definite article the right before rainy. So that is actually used for the noun day, but that is used in shape of more emphasis or to modify even further an adjective. So we've used it because of the same reason, not before the noun but before an adjective that is already found describing the noun. So we have actually two adjectives describing the noun. So this rainy is an adjective here. That's another concept. Let's take a few more common things that I have to share with you. Now the specific concept comes out. The first of which is we use the definite article the before an already known or a specific noun or defined noun. For example, I'm coming to the office. Wait for me there. Now that office is actually a common noun, but that office is more modified, not because of the, or actually we use the only because we have a sentence following the next, that is wait for me there. That has given us that emphasis that allowed us to actually use the definite article right before the common noun that has actually become proper, which is office. Let's take another example. We use definite article the when we have nouns that are mentioned for the second time. Now you must remember the preceding lecture where we have discussed already about nouns getting used for the first time. Those are such nouns where we actually attach the indefinite article a, or when it turns out to be n at the same time also. But by this time around, it's reverse. So when nouns getting used for the second time, we use definite article the. Let's take the same example as was already given to you in the preceding one, and this time the example is the same. There is a gardener outside. Now the gardener is that kind of a common noun that is getting used for the first time, which is why it is placed with a right before it. But the same noun when gets used in the next sentence, such as the gardener is very poor. Now that gardener remains to be the same common noun, but because of getting used for the second time, it gets repeated and becomes a proper noun at the same time, which is why we have attached the definite article the. Another point for you, we use definite article the right before the general nouns such as places, etc., that are found normally or generally in nature. For example, I love to spend my evenings near the beach. Now that beach is well known. We don't have to modify or define the beach further. Everybody knows what the beach really is and what really it looks like. So this is why, and having the name of it in a sentence allows us already to attach the definite article attached before beach. Let's take another example. A noun that is one of its kind, we use the definite article right before it. How? For example, the sky looks pretty wonderful. Now, where we find the noun that is sky, that is one of its kind. We don't have to mention it to anybody that there is another sky, that's black sky, that's red sky. No, there is one kind of a sky. So this is why we use the definite article right before those known or one of its kind type of noun. So let's take another example. When proper name becomes a proper term. Now here is the thing that we need to understand very clearly and with complete care. Look, when we talk about proper name, And when we talk about proper noun, there are two different things. When we talk about proper name, we don't attach any article. Like the name of Shahbaz, my name is, and I don't have any article attached with my name, that is Shahbaz. It can never be a Shahbaz, or it can even never be the Shahbaz. Never comes any article right before the name. That's my name, that's proper name. But then when it becomes a proper term, the same name of mine, then we get to attach the definite article the even before the name, that even like my name. For example, um, nobody knows Shahbaz, but the Shahbaz I know is a teacher. Now there you have found in the second sentence, the name Shahbaz is more like a proper term than to be once again called a proper name. Let's take another example. Now, normally what do we have? Pakistan. Right before the name of this country, Pakistan, we don't have any article attached. But it is because of the sentence, the type of the sentence we have, that has allowed us to use article right before the country's name, that is Pakistan. Now let us go about reading the sentence once again. The Pakistan of our ancestors was very different. Now we live in a Pakistan that is different, where that's what we know and what we have around. But we are comparing today's country to the country that was actually was actually independent, given independence into, or was actually separated from South Asia, or in the part of South Asia. So the Pakistan of our ancestors was very different. Now it is specified what type of Pakistan, that is of our ancestors. So here the name, the proper name, has actually become a proper term, which is why we have attached the definite article the before a name also. Now that's for the place, and that's for the person. That you can see another example. Is he not the Joseph we met last time? Now Joseph is a common name of a person, but right before a person's name we never attach any article, but we are actually specifying him right now in this very sentence, specifying in a way that we have actually seen him first, we met him first somewhere, maybe a month ago, maybe a year ago, but here we have actually placed the only because of that second meeting, or because of recognizing Joseph, that Joseph or the same Joseph, in such a way. Is he not the Joseph that we met last time? So this is how we have attached the right before the proper term, not actually the proper name. And last but not the least, to sum up the lecture altogether, we have the most important point. When proper noun becomes a qualifying adjective. For example, Albert Einstein is the Shakespeare of mathematical physics. Now, trying to figure out why do we attach the before Shakespeare. Now, trying to understand this point, you need to look at it once again. Now, Shakespeare is actually a noun, and once again, it's a proper noun, a type of a name where we don't attach any article such as the. But here, Shakespeare is getting defined for a single noun, that is Albert Einstein. Now, Albert Einstein is a genuine noun, but to define it further, we have used another name as the name of Shakespeare in order to give it a comparison. Now that Shakespeare is in origination is a noun, but to define a genuine noun, that is Albert Einstein, this is used more as an adjective, the word Shakespeare, than to be considered another noun. So that is actually where we find the comparison, and we do the same thing like that. Like we can say, I am the Aristotle of my society. Now, I am not the Aristotle in real, but I have actually considered myself the kind of a knowledgeable guy that can speak up and that can actually give informations, spread informations like no other but the great Aristotle. Now, Aristotle is actually describing me, so it's kind of a positive adjective. Once we have studied also, that is actually not a noun right now in a sentence. So, I hope you have understood all of the points that I have gathered for you in this final lecture of article, and doing so, we have finally concluded this topic. So don't forget to like and subscribe my channel even further, and do click on the bell icon to stay further updated. Me, Fazal Shahbaz Khan, officially would want to take your leave, and until lecture number 12 of grammar series, it's goodbye.